Okay guys, welcome to another one of Spag's tutorial videos. So today we're going to be looking at adding a prop onto a model and having it toggle with some animations. Okay, so I've just opened up a new project. I've got my model here. It's just a deagle that I've done up. I've got my streaming model here done as a prefab, so I can just whack him straight into the scene. Cool. Let me just bring my floor back up so you guys can actually see that. And I'm just going to quickly change my skybox because I hate the stock skybox. Prefer to work in the dark than a blinding white light. Okay. So I've got my model here. So let's say, for example, I want to put a gun on his hip, and I want to put a gun in his. I've got to think about myself. My right hand, which would be this side. All we need to do, we're just going to drag it into the scene to start with. Get our sizing and positioning correct. Okay, so we want it about there. Gonna obviously rotate it, but I want to change the sizing as well. So one other thing we always make sure when we're doing this stuff, make sure everything's unpacked. Okay, so what I mean by that is just right click it. See, at the moment how it's a blue square means it's a prefab. Unpack the prefabs, because for some reason whenever you do stuff, okay, there we go, unpack, you want them to go grey like this. Whenever you do stuff with animations and all that sort of gear or fancy stuff with an avatar, they don't seem to work, and it's because they're in a prefab, and Unity doesn't, in the 2.0 system, doesn't like working with prefabs with all this fancy stuff. So for some reason an animation doesn't work, or a toggle system doesn't work, or something along those lines, try unpacking everything first and then running through all the scripts and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to position it, so this will probably be the longest part of the tutorial. Get the sizing right. Actually, I'm not going to use that tool. I'm going to use the scale over here and transform. So, let's look, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. That's still too big. Go 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2. That's better. I mean, I know a deagle's a pretty big gun to start with, so it might go 0.3, 0.3. Okay. It seems so big. Now, let's have a look at it in relation to the hand. Might be better to work out exactly... Oh, I want the other hand, not that one. Might be better to work out the hand before we work out the hip. So... grabbing the rotation tool, this one up here. Now, if you hold, I think it's control. Yeah, if you hold control and then grab the line, you can actually move it in perfect increments. Makes it a bit easier when you got to get things exactly level. And spin it around. Same thing again. Hold control when you're rotating it. About there. And probably up one more. Yeah, I might need to actually just play with that normally, but okay, so that is round about the size that I want it for his hand. So yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm positioning one roundabout into his hand where I want it to be. Okay. The angle probably needs to change a little bit. So just moving around, just trying to line things up best I can, just roughly. You can see obviously there's a bit of clipping there with the finger. I probably could stand to make it a point difference, so maybe something like 0.25 will be better. Okay, I think I need to pull it forward again. Yeah, I do. up and across, so it's drifted down a little bit. I need, yeah, that over the top like that. Okay, cool. Don't worry about the thumb, because obviously the thumb's going to come around and grip the gun a bit more. You will play with that with the animation. Cool, that's alright. So, now that I'm happy there with that and the sizing, all we're going to do is create a copy of it. To create a copy of it, just click on it. I know it's called Untitled Variant. I should actually probably rename it for naming conventions. Gun, hand, there we go. We're just going to go click on it, go Control D to duplicate it. So Control on your keyboard plus D. And then we're going to drag the duplicate round about to where the hip is, or where we want it on the hip. So realistically, I probably want it on this side. Like that. Position it roughly. I know I don't have a holster or anything. A lot of people are like, wait, how is it attached? This is Vrchat. It's magic. Like that. By that. Cool. Alright, so I'm showing you this part, guys, just because it's I think it is a key part of it. Alright. I'm happy with that. So, we have one in the hand and one on the hip, but we don't want the one on the hand always to be visible. Actually, we're going to make sure we've got the naming correct too. So that is going to be called gun waist. Yeah. Alright, so the one on the waist we want active by default, but the one in the hand we want to appear. However, we've got to chuck these into the correct locations on the body so that they move where they're supposed to. So to start with, this one needs to be on the right leg. Now it's right based on the way that the model's facing, so it'll be based on this way. So it's his right leg. Okay, we can test that. So what we're going to do is, on our actual model up here, we're going to navigate to the correct leg. Right leg, okay. Now we want the gun on the waist to go under there. And to test it, if we click on the right leg, grab the rotation tool, okay. And we're just going to, yep, so you can see it's moving with the leg, and that's what we want. To reset the leg back to position, go Control plus Z, and that'll undo the rotation that we did. Alright, now we need to navigate for this one to the hand. So we're going to go spine, chest. It is our right hand, because remember it's the direction that he's looking. Elbow, wrist. Now, we want it on the wrist, not on a finger bone or anything like that. We just want it on the wrist, so we're going to drag it into the same level as the wrist. And this is the big thing, we're going to turn it off. So we come up here to the inspector and uncheck the box, and that disables it. Alright. Now, we need to do our animations for it. So, don't worry about all the little orbs, that's just my dynamics. To do the animations for it, actually I'm going to turn that off. Cool. To do the animations for it, we're just going to make some duplicates. So we want Control D on our main model to make some duplicates. We've got 1 and 2. I'm going to call the first duplicate gun in hand. Okay. Second duplicate is... Actually, do I need to make a second duplicate? No, I don't, because the gun's already there on default. So if you wanted the gun to do something different, then yeah. We only need really the one duplicate, because we're just going to make it appear in the hand, and then when you let go of the gesture, it's going to go back to the hip. Okay, so now we would normally just grab a gesture. I'm going to find out... let's put it on... I'm guessing that's the fist I'm using. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let me bring... So you would just grab any of these sort of gestures that you might have pre-done. You can also create your own gesture, which is a little bit more work through the animation system, like of clicking on here and then going create. We will do both. I will show you how to do both in case you don't have any of these already. But you can get these, I'm pretty sure, by going through your SDK. I think there's examples in there, or just typing in like fist, I'm pretty sure. Yep, you can see there's heaps that I've got from other places. Facials, that one. And Lex fist, there it is. Other way you can get them as well is if you ever go to a website like say oh god, I'm drawing a blank on it. The yeah, I'll just find it out for you. VRC mods, thank you. That's it. I don't normally recommend that website, but if you ever import a model in there and just import the animations, you can get your basic animations that way a lot of the time too. Or you can just, I think that you can Google or YouTube animations for your model. There is ways. There is ways. You can make them yourself. Up to you. A lot more work. However, I digress. We want this animation. So we're going to drag this animation from here onto duplicate. Okay. I'm just going to deactivate the first one. So clicking on him, turning him off. Okay. Doesn't look like anything changed, but there was actually two on top of each other. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click on our duplicate, go to the animation tab. Now if you don't have the animation tab, you come up the top to, what was it? Tools, components, object. I'm pretty sure it was just window, animation, and then your animation tab there. You click that there and then it'll pop you out a separate window like this something, and then you can just drag it to wherever you want it. Okay, so our animation is in here. We have the, let me get rid of that. Have the hand posture all in here. If we hit record, okay, I thought I turned, oh, because I've got a duplicate. Okay, that's why. What is going on? Record, there we go. Alright, anyway, he fell down. That's the main thing. I have 2 copies. I don't know why I've got 2 copies. Alright, I mustn't have deleted one. Alright, so he fell down. Okay, so he's broken. He's in the floor and he's broken. What all we need to do now, we've hit the come across animation, hit the record tab, expand it out, navigate to your gun that is in your hand. So in this case, we're going through and looking for the right hand or right wrist. And in this animation, all we're going to do is find gun hand. Oh, it's going to do it that way to me. Okay. So if your model does that and springs back up and gets out of the animation you're currently in, we have to navigate to it a different way. So that means it wasn't part of the original model. So to navigate to it a different way is we go add property and then we navigate to it through here. So we go armature, hips, spine, scroll down, chest, right shoulder, right arm, right elbow, right wrist. We find the gun, we expand the gun, and then see this is active. Come across the little plus button. Okay, so now we've got this extra field down the bottom here. Just put a tick in there, and the gun's there in the hand. Now we need to make sure we copy this from this section over to the 1 second keyframe. Okay, so easiest way, click the blue dot at the top, go Control plus C on your keyboard. Click across into the second, Control plus V. Okay, and now if we hit the play button, it just makes a gun appear there. But there is one other thing we haven't done, and that is the gun on the hip still there. So we need to do the same thing, but in like for the gun on the hip. So we're going to come down here and go add property, armature, hips. Now remember, it's on the right leg, so we go right leg, gun on waist is active. Click that, and this time we're going to gun waist, we're going to untick gun waist. Okay, and see now the gun on the waist has disappeared. So now we go Control C, Control V, paste it, and that's it, we're done. Okay. You have now done the gun animation. So now, how do we get that to reflect on our normal model? Well, you find your controller, your default controller, and you basically just drag that into the fist. Well, in this case I'm using fist animation, so I would drag fist into the fist slot. If you did it on handgun, point, whichever, you would drag it into the appropriate thing for each of those, basically. This model here that we did the animation on, you can just delete that now. You're done with that. Your main model, you just reactivate him again. Okay? That is one-on-one on how to do props and adding on bits and pieces like that. You can do the same thing if you wanted a separate animation where, say for example, you wanted the gun to actually shoot. So you could have fist be the one to draw the gun, okay? And then you could have it on a, say there's like another thing under the gun, like you might have a particle effect under the gun. So I'll just grab a random particle effect. Actually, have I got like an explosion? Ice explosion, I guess that'll do. Okay, yeah, so it's obviously not exactly what I want, but say for example I wanted that. There's actually a few other things you might need to do to get this to work exactly how you want it, but say for example this ice explosion was underneath here. We want to unpack that, by the way. Unpack. You could have it turned off by default, have it so the first gesture will draw the gun, okay, which would be fist close. On the second gesture, which could be something like point with your other hand, you have it activate this, okay? So when you just normally point by itself, it won't activate like the ice explosion because of the fact that gun isn't activated first. The thing at the top has to be activated first before this can become activated. So that would mean it's what they call a two gesture activation. So you would have to do fist, in my case, to activate the gun. And then you would have to point with the other hand to activate ice explosion, which would shoot the, like, do the explosion, just say you shot. You can use that in a multitude of ways to do different things. You could have another animation on there that does a reload or something like that. It's just, yeah, that's 101 on how to add props and how to do little animation toggles for them. Alright, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm going to do also another one on how to add a marker to your model and then put it on an inventory system. It was requested by someone as well, so I will do that. Once again, this all works with the avatar system 2.0 and 1.0, if you can still get a hold of 1.0. As for 3.0, it's a bit different as well. Like, the animation system's a little bit different. I will be learning more on that myself. I have a rough idea, just haven't gone and done it because I've been lazy. So if you guys want any of this stuff or any of my prefabs and models and all that, do remember my Discord. I do try and put a lot of stuff into that as well. I will do more videos as time goes on, and anything that I ever make on here other than my own personal models, like this guy, will actually get chucked up in there as well. So, alright, thanks very much guys, and don't forget to follow me on twitch.tv /the Mr. Spaghetti. And also don't forget to shoot me a follow here on YouTube. Thanks guys, catch you next time.